in the first week of July, July 5th and 6th, we'll host the USA Junior Championships, which will be the place that will select the team that we came here to probably address here today, and that is the World Junior Championships. Today, the IAAF announced 177 countries that have submitted their entries for the World Junior Championships, which will be held here at historic Hayward Field, July 22nd to July 27th. It's a very, very exciting opportunity for us. We're fortunate here today. We have Otto Bolden here. He's a pretty impressive guy. He's here today in a number of capacities. His capacity for being here today in about an hour is he is going to be the broadcast analyst for the Pac-12 network as they actually broadcast the Twilight Meet that we mentioned in a minute. Now, Otto's pretty impressive, so I want to let me make a couple of comments. I'm going to ask Otto 3 questions, all right, and then I'm going to turn it over to him, and he's actually going to run the rest of this press conference. First of all, Otto is actually, in addition to being an outstanding sportscaster and analyst at many levels, what he is, he was a fantastic, accomplished athlete. As a matter of fact, I think the thing that he is probably going to speak to, we hope today, are these 3 things. He is the IAAF ambassador. The IAAF has chosen 3 athletes, former athletes, to represent the IAAF at the World Junior Championship, and Otto is one of them. So he's going to speak to that and his cohorts. He's also going to speak to his experience at the 1992 IAAF World Junior Championships in Seoul, Korea. Do you remember 1992?
Vaguely.
All right. Where he became the first sprinter to win gold medals in the 100 and the 200. And we're going to also ask him to make a couple of comments about what advice he might give to the junior athletes that will be competing. So I hope you guys will be nice too, and welcome Otto Bolden.
Thanks, Coach. You asked me if I can remember 1992. I think for a lot of these athletes that are coming to the World Junior Championships here in a couple months, that is their sort of ramp on on their career highway, and they have to decide at that point, am I good enough to keep going and be a pro, or is this pretty much where I exit? I had no clue. I had only started running when I was 16. So for me, they said, hey, this is the meet you have to go to. I knew very little about track and field. I went back home, tried out for my Olympic team, went to Barcelona, stunk up the place, and then was looking for a meet to redeem myself. And they said, okay, well, you got beat up by the big boys. Why don't you go back and compete against the juniors? And I was so upset as I was being called a fraud back home, because it was like, oh, this new kid from the States is back and he's going to be the next Hazley Crawford. And then I went to Barcelona, was out in the first round of both. So for me, the World Junior Championships was, I'm going to show them. And that's why I went and I think created that history, because I really kind of went there with a chip on my shoulder. In terms of the kids going to this meet, my advice to them is to, first of all, have fun, but cherish the friendships that you're going to make at this meet, because that, in a lot of ways, might be one of the most important things. When I went to that meet in Korea, Amy Acuff, who would become my UCLA teammate, Haile Gebrselassie, my friend to this day, Darren Campbell, who finished second to me in both, still my friend to this day. So it really was the beginning of some spectacular friendships within the sport. But the thing that they have to realize is that the only difference between World Championships, Olympics, and this is basically the age of the competitors. That is the only thing different, and I think that's by design. They run everything just the way it will be run at a championship setting, because that's the point at which you figure out, can I handle this? Some kids get too nervous and they realize, you know what, I was good in maybe high school, but I can't do this at the next level because I can't handle the pre-race nerves.
You have 177 countries. You have kids from 177 countries thinking about this. What would you say about what their experience might be like competing at Hayward Field?
Well, they're getting spoiled. I remember we hosted something in Port of Spain a couple of years ago. I believe it was Pan Am Juniors. And I got a chance to. I was sort of an ambassador there for Trinidad, and I said to the kids, I said, listen, don't let this spoil you. You guys are staying at one of the best hotels in the Caribbean. Every road trip is not going to be like this. These kids that are coming here, whether or not they know it, I mean, first of all, it's the first time it's being held in the United States. That's special. We know that. But for the kids, it's like, you're going to get spoiled because the stands are going to be packed. You're going to be running in front of America's most knowledgeable fans. And I mean, if I had to do my career over, I'd have run a couple more times at Hayward Field. So whether or not they know it, they are pretty much starting at the top in terms of where this venue is. And I hope for their sake they come away from the United States with a very favorable impression of what American track and field fans are like.
We're excited about it. We're excited that we're going to be, this is the first time it's in the United States. And actually, this is the first time for so many of these kids, they will actually be not only competing in the United States, but they're actually going to come to the United States, and they're going to live in our campus, live in our community. This place is going crazy waiting for this to happen. So,
Whoever's got a question, go ahead. Fire away.
Because you've had Trayvon Bromell out of Baylor run 10:01 and tied two other guys for the World Junior record, I just feel like the United States in particular is due to show who is the next coming. You have the older guys, Gatlin and so on, sort of hanging on. And the reason an old lion hangs on is because a new lion hasn't come up to bite him in the neck. So to me, I am always having to look and see who is going to be the new young cub to come, bite some of these older guys in the neck in another 24 months when the Olympic trials come back here. And that meet will give me a very good indication as to who's that cub.
do you know anything about the other ambassadors that are going to be?
Oh yes, my other ambassadors. We are in duck country, but there are three Bruins representing the IAAF. Joanna Hayes, the 2004 Olympic gold medalist in the 100 hurdles, and the other one needs no introduction, Jackie Joyner Kersey, the first lady of American track and field. Those are two. Jackie was one of the reasons I went to UCLA. Joanna is sort of a broadcast protege of mine, so we're all very close, very connected, proud to represent the IAAF, and we're always excited to be in Eugene. So I've already talked to them about how much fun we're going to have up here. The weather is usually better than it is in May, which is a big thing for me being from the Caribbean. So I'm looking forward to it.